You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
Take over.
Hey, Go Time Dolphins Fantasy Football League is alive and kicking. We got a couple more spots left. If anybody wants to get in, go ahead and email gotimedolphins@gmail.com if you want to be in the Fantasy Football League. gotimedolphins@gmail.com. Put in the subject, fantasy football. Make sure you put fantasy football in the subject, and we will find you. The winner gets $300 cold, hard cash, or pounds, or pesos, or whatever. Yeah. How much currency you got, Kadeem? Like euros?
Euros, pounds, dollars, rupees, francs.
And they still got shekels?
Don't think so. That's what people have, like dollars. You got like Australian dollars, Jamaican dollars, like So I'm not gonna count that because it's just a country next to dollars and stuff like that. So,
before I didn't finish, Holmes. Like, $300, and the winner gets a championship ring. Go Time Dolphins Fantasy Football League championship ring. Go ahead, Kadeem.
Well, no, I was just gonna ask before we truly delve into the episode preview, what do you make of Denzel Mims, the Jets receiver?
He was drafted too early, and it wasn't his fault that he was drafted so high. So, I mean, I haven't touched up on him recently. I know he wants out of New York. He wants to either be traded or released. I can understand that because you're not that dude, and he has a whole bunch of other dudes in front of him now. So I don't think I would be interested in Denzel Mims at all.
You know what? It wasn't for us. It's more just a case of it's, as teams start making cuts, looking at trades, it's another wide receiver that kind of like slightly limits the options for a, Preston Williams. But I just thought it was interesting, the Jets don't have the most talented roster and Gannon's trying to get out of there. So it is what it is. It's always interesting to see, other teams, other players, I guess, wanting to leave. Oh, I know this is Go Time Dolphins, but have you seen the fight between the Bengals and the Rams?
Man, that's every day in camp, man. That's not right. Yeah, it was a helmet getting swung around, but
two helmets. I would he's probably gonna get suspended because
I doubt it.
You don't think so?
Nah, he's not gonna get suspended. It's practice. We talking about practice.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because obviously people are saying that, and obviously Miles Garrett done it in a game. This is just practice, but 2 helmets is a bit excessive. But before I get your opinion on that as well.
Hey, it's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. I got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. Y'all know what time it is. It's the preview, Dolphins, Eagles. And if you guys been, it's the last preseason game. We getting real close to strapping these boots on real quick. And if you guys have been keeping up, then we've been mutting the Eagles in practice all week. That's crazy. Hey, I think Detroit's gonna beat the Eagles week 1. I'm just saying. So yeah, what you make of everything that's going on this week, Kadeem?
It's been quite interesting because the week kind of started with a few Eagles beat reporters saying that the Eagles have the best wide receivers in the league. Like, and Dolphins fans were saying Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle exist. And then you had a situation where, you know, Byron Jones is injured, Nick Needham was just returning, Mackenzie Alexander's out, Xavier Howard is just one dude. And yet apparently the Dolphins defense just completely shut down the Eagles. So at some point, these amazing Eagles receivers are going to show up. But no, people were saying that Tua just looked amazing. And again, it's just practice. But it seems Tua, is slowly coming along. He says he's ready for week 1. And there's meant to be a second joint practice session. And it got cancelled because a number of Miami Dolphins players came up with a sickness bug. They're vomiting all night. Coach McDaniel said it's not over half the team, but to be safe, to be secure, they basically cancelled the joint practice, kind of, went through some stuff virtually, and it remains to be seen who is going to miss this next game and whether this is going to be a matter of actually, starters, stay at home, we're all good. What do you make of everything?
Yeah, Coach McDaniel called practice and he was like, yo, we're not doing this. It's something going around, and to prevent it to go from going around even more, we're just not going to practice. And they canceled the joint practice. And it's a preseason game. Again, this is similar to the Bucs. You got to imagine that they seen some stuff in practice that they wanted to see or didn't want to see, so they'll have a better understanding of what looks they want in the game this Sunday or Saturday, and we'll go from there. But had this been a regular week, a regular season week, it would have been interesting to see what Coach had done. But no, I think we'll be all right. I hate that these boys got to go through some suspect to be a food poisoning. So yeah, man. But yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one of those things where I would imagine that had they had this second joint practice, that would have, further along in your preseason preparation. And again, you probably don't play the starters in the actual game, because like we mentioned on the last podcast, they would have gone through things in this joint practice, okay, we're going to set up a situation where we're in the red zone, this is what we're going to do. Set up a situation where it's 1st and 10 from the 30, this is what we're going to do. You might not get a situation in a game. So I think had the joint practice been called off for something other than an illness, then you might have seen the starters play. I think this close to the season, this close to disruptions and stuff like that, I think McDaniel's going to be ultra safe. And once again, what we're going to get from Skylar Thompson, what we're going to get from Noah this season, what we're going to get from, the fringe players, I guess.
So there's a report this week that Jalen Waddle was walking gingerly around, like off the football field. Like he's nursing an injury. He had a sleeve on his right leg and his right ankle was taped up. What do you make of this?
The initial part of him walking gingerly reminds me of what happened in his rookie season when certain beat reporters were like, he walks with a limp, he's clearly injured, he came back from his injury too soon. Slight humble brag, I was fortunate enough to see Jalen Waddle up close and personal. And yeah, he walked with a slight limp, but it never impacted his game on the field. Now it seems that it's a potential hamstring injury. And again, I think it comes down to, had this been the regular season, had there been actual games, points on the line, you might have seen Jalen Waddle in a limited capacity. Okay, can we get 5 snaps out of him? Can we get 10 snaps out of him? Can we manage it as the season goes along? Because as you mentioned in the last podcast, what Dan Campbell said, this is the most healthy you're going to be all season. Once games start, you're never going to be 100% healthy. You have to play through injuries, play through nicks, play through bangs. Obviously, muscle injuries are a complete different thing, but we've seen it up close and personal with Devontae Parker. Sometimes you can just about play through a slight hamstring injury, depending on how severe it is. I think Jalen Waddle, and to be fair, Mike McDaniel said it himself, Jalen Waddle was angry at coach because Jalen Waddle feels he can play. And Mike McDaniel was like, I understand you feel that way, but I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to play you in a joint practice in a preseason game. You aggravated injury, and now you're out for a month, out for 2 months. You're too important to the team. Give it an extra week. Give an extra 2 weeks. We will put you back on the field when the coaching staff feel you're ready. So I think there's legitimate concerns, but I think it's nothing to worry about. Where it's like, oh my days, he'll miss week 1. I think he'll be ready to go week 1. How about you?
I think if you limping off the field and gingerly walking and taping up stuff and have a sleeve on stuff, that's not where I want my starting receiver. You know what I'm saying? So nah, you need to sit down for the next couple of weeks, Holmes. Like, we don't need you out here like that. There's something there for sure. I don't like it at all. I do think the timing is safe. I think him and Tua are straight. They're all right. But it's all about more reps on in the practice field, not preseason. It's all about more reps, making sure people know the playbook, making sure the timing with the routes and stuff is there, even though I think it's all right. But it's still a new system. So the more reps you can get in a new system, the better. The more defenses and looks you can get thrown at you, the better. So if the Dolphins have our own defense scheming up different looks in practice, that's one thing. But when you're in joint practices with the Eagles, you get different looks. So that's what I would like Jalen Waddle to be involved in, but not if you're limping off the field. What you make of Trey Flowers being at Dolphins camp, getting a kicking? The Dolphins basically kicking the tires on Trey Flowers.
So I haven't seen Aaron Cascos from Same Old Dolphins. I haven't seen his rant on Trey Flowers. I am intrigued to see it. I'll probably watch it after this. Shout out to the Same Old Dolphins guys. We was on their show recently. Friends of the podcast. It's 3 years too late for Trey Flowers in Miami in the nicest possible way. I think again, there's more pressing needs for Miami. Unless Trey Flowers has magically converted to center or cornerback, why are you bringing him in for? You just put him over in Ingram at the start of the summer. He looks like he's going to be, he's going to play a significant part in the Dolphins, rotation. You still got Emmanuel Ogbah. You still got Jalen Phillips. Andrew Van Ginkel is still a thing. Porter Gustin is a thing. Like, I don't see why bringing in Trey Flowers to do what? To take away snaps from who? Like, I understand if you think that actually Porter Gustin isn't quite ready where you want him to be against, NFL starting tackles. It's one thing getting sacks against guys who can be, working in Walmart in a couple of weeks. No offense to them. But you know what I mean? Like, I understand if you want to bring in a bit more veteran presence. But I think it's, in a nicest possible way, a total waste of money when you're basically down 2 corners from, over the past 3 weeks. One of them a replacement for someone who was already down. Noah isn't kicking on the way we want him to be. And we still have issues on the offensive line. So I'm slightly concerned that the Dolphins are ignoring what I perceive to be glaring holes on the roster right now.
No, I don't think that's how we're supposed to look at it. If the Dolphins can't find another corner for depth because they don't see something in the market that's better than what they have, like, there's no reason to spend $6 million on the corner if he's just going to be our 4th corner, right? If that's how they feel about it, I can understand that. Same thing with O-line. J.C. Tretter, everybody wanted J.C. Tretter. J.C. Tretter just retired. And I'm like, well, there must have been something there a long time ago. Dude was not working out, getting ready for the season, talking about, all right, I'm done. Like, he must have knew he was done, and the rumors must have been out on him. No one even brought him in. So when it comes to Trey Flowers, I think everybody got a price. Mohamed Sanu was just brought in. We didn't need receivers. And some thought he was going to make the roster. So whatever Mohamed Sanu price is not out of the realm of being logical, right? So if Trey, you said it's 3 years too late for Trey Flowers, I agree 100%. But at the same time, everybody got a price. So if Trey Flowers is coming in here because he doesn't want to sit out a season because his days are numbered, and he says, "Yo, I'll play for the minimum." Yeah, all right. Well, he's going to take somebody's spot. It's just about what can you do for. Ask not what the team can do for you. Ask only what you can do for the team.
But in that instance, Trey Flowers is going to be at best defensive end number 5. Yeah, I say at best.
Okay.
Right? So, and I understand if you can't find a corner, but in the nicest possible way, you telling me there's not a corner who can play better than Noah Igbenogany? Because, dude, come on. Like,
but what's the price though? For what price though? It's you have to have your price.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. But that's
what I'm saying.
But even that, again, we have no idea what Mackenzie Alexander was on. He could have been on a bet minimum. My whole thing is that you telling me you can't find a vet or even a backup corner on another team for a 6th who's going to be better than Noah Igbenogany. Like that. Like my whole thing is that, and that's why I said I understand if you can't quite find it, and maybe it's harsh on me to say you're prioritizing a position or an area of the team, of the field, where do we really, really, really need a defensive end, like I said, 4/5, when I'm looking at it in terms of, and again, you're going to be rotating guys in and out. I totally understand that. But let's assume we've got Jalen Phillips, Emmanuel Ogbah, Melvin Ingram, and I'm going to give you Andrew Van Ginkel as your 4 rotating pieces coming off the edge, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You could probably at points have, and not every single down, but at points have a Channing Tindall or a Jerome Baker coming off the edge, bearing him, and also factor in how many times, friend of the podcast, Javon Holland and Brandon Jones come off the edge. I don't think we need someone else coming off the edge, if that makes sense. I think there's other areas of need where, and again, I don't believe in going and getting Reuben Foster, and again, I understand that the price for Foster might be more than the price for Flowers. I just don't think, even at vet's minimum, I don't see any value in Trey Flowers right now.
All right, you just put pudding on the cake instead of icing on the cake, bro. Just because it looks like icing don't mean we should just put this thing on the cake. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jerome Baker isn't coming off the edge. Everyone knows Javon Holland is a DB. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, these boys might come off the edge in certain situations, but no one's lining up as a linebacker or outside DN, nothing like that. Flowers is that. That's his role. So it's not like there's 53 people on the roster and the Dolphins say, hey, we have 52 good ones. Let's go get a 53rd and make it a DN or make it a corner. I'm sure whatever corners that they have, and I'm pretty sure it's 4? It was about 6 corners. We have 6 corners on the roster, 5 or 6. Whoever's on the roster, whoever that 5th one is, because I'm going to just go ahead and give it to you like this. Noah is 6th. All right. The reason, and matter of fact, let me just break this down. The reason we cannot move on from Noah is because we would incur a dead cap penalty anyway. So he has to be on the team. He might as well just be there, whether he's holding Gatorade bottles or he's catching punts. He's going to be on the team. So when they go to people like McKenzie and someone else, who else is out there? Joe Hayden is out there, right? Joe Hayden probably wants way more than McKenzie got. So when they go to people like this, it's not to compete with Noah. It's already understood that they're going to come in as the 4th or 5th on the roster. So what I'm saying is, if the Dolphins feel like, what's your boy name? He's special teams corner.
Special teams corner.
Yeah, he's a special teams corner. He came in.
Keon
Crossen, my dog. See, my dog. Crossen comes in. Crossen is already, we'll just call him corner number 5, right?
Yeah.
Crossen's number 5, Noah's number 6. And this is pretty accurate, actually. We're not going to get a corner to bump up Crossen to 4. You know what I'm saying? Just as a body. we would want to go get a corner that can compete and potentially, God forbid, someone goes down, or one or two goes down, that this person can potentially play on the outside. We have no intention of playing Keon Crossen on the outside, right? So if the Dolphins feel like that person is not out there, and you weigh it out with the bag, Joe Hayden wants $7 million. I'm just throwing a number out there, or Charlie Touche wants 500,000. They're like, yo, we'll just go with Keon Crossen. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
of course.
Charlie Touche is not good enough to play corner, and Joe Hayden's not good enough to make 6 M's. So we're gonna just go with Keon Crossen. That's when the Dolphins say, well, just because we're done with this position, don't mean we can't improve other positions. And that's why I think the Trey Flowers conversation comes in, because every position, that's how Mohamed Sanu got brought in. Everybody knows the Dolphins receivers are good. So we're good at receiver, I should say. So when Mohamed Sanu came in, it was like whoa, why is Mohamed Sanu coming in? So I think it's the same thing with Trey Flowers. Like you improve every single position. Like we still need a center, yeah, for sure. But we still brought in Mohamed Sanu. He don't play center.
My whole thing is that I understand you want to improve. I don't think Trey Flowers improved on what we have. Like Trey Flowers like I'm saying, Trey Flowers comes in at the end 5, 6 at best. So I'm like, again, if you're going to spend the cap money, then spend the cap money. I'm just like, this is a complete, in my opinion, this is a completely pointless bringing them in. Now, again, I say it's pointless. You don't know what can happen in the season. You might lose 2 defensive ends, and you brought in Trey Flowers now because you might need him in 2 months. I understand that. And if that's their thinking, then, Kadeem, shut up. Like, that's their thinking. But my whole thing is that I see Trey Flowers, I'm like, again, you're wasting time. Like, spend this energy trying to see if you can find a cheap corner.
I'm saying they're finding. I think you could do all those things simultaneously. Not only, I think they're trying to find a corner. I think they try to find the center. I think Mohamed Sanu. Oh, let's bring Mohamed Sanu in too. Every position has to improve simultaneously, and I think that's what the Dolphins are doing. Even if it's to the tune of Trey Flowers costing $500,000 more than the 5th DN on the roster. I think that's due diligence, and I think that's what they're doing. Trey Flowers, I don't think he's fell off the map, but I think he's got to have something in him. Like Trey Flowers, when you hear Trey Flowers, I'm like, he's not. All right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But he's got to have something in the tank. He knows the system too. That's more of the real reason he's coming in, because he is a Patriot. He was a Patriot. This is the Patriots defense that we still run. So he knows the system, and that's why they went to him instead of any other DB linebacker that was out there. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, in terms of, if you're happy to move on, in terms of knowing the system, how much longer is Mike Gesicki going to know the system? Because in Thursday's media availability, Mike McDaniel was kind of asked about the potential of Mike Gesicki being traded, and he basically said, and I'll read it verbatim, these reports are tricky to me because I'm like, again, I've alluded to this before at the beginning of the off-season. During the training camp, during the off-season in general, GMs have work to do, and they're not just watching us coach. So when people report that somebody is, when they use loose verbiage of his name being brought up or whatever, I mean, the report is kind of misleading because there are probably just going to be a lot of names on that report. All I'm focused on, and that's regardless of what people try to churn up, I'm focused on coaching Mike focused on getting better. People have made stuff up about this, that, or the other, whether you're a receiver or a tight end, or we even have running backs to do it. You have to be able to do the stuff with the ball, and you have to be able to block for other people that are doing stuff with the ball. We continue to work those techniques with everyone. What do you make of that? And did Mike McDaniel basically just say, yeah, Mike Gesicki is up for trade?
I think you have to be careful. I think McDaniel has to be careful, or he's going to find himself in a Brian Flores situation where, regardless of if you're QB1 or TE1, you still want to handle this player with respect, the respect that he deserves. So unlike Flores, and it was a media circus around QB1, obviously because QB is the most important position on the team. He still wants to respect Mike Gesicki and not make it a media circus when it comes to this guy potentially being traded. And if I'm being honest with you, I think Mike Gesicki I think he knows, all right, look, this is a whole new system coming in. This has nothing to do with the front office wanting me or not. Everyone knows in the league that what I'm capable of, but this system does not highlight that. It does not highlight my strengths if I'm Mike Gesicki. So I think this isn't going to be one of those bad breakups. Like, dang, boy, like, and I say it all the time, bro. It just didn't work out. We don't have to argue on the way out. It's a breakup. You know what I'm saying? You're an awesome person. You know what I'm saying? We just not made for each other. And that's what this is. It's okay. If we choose to go our separate ways from Mike Gesicki, it's not a bad breakup. No one's throwing stuff around the house, breaking stuff, and have to be restrained. Like, nah, this is, I don't want to say it's completely amicable, but it's not a bad breakup. The writing's on the wall. It's not working out between us. We're growing apart. We're growing separate. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what is going on with Mike Gesicki right now and this system. From what I understand, obviously we haven't seen it for us. Well, we've seen a little bit of it, but we haven't seen enough practice reps as fans to know, does he always look like this? Does he look good in practice sometimes? Who knows? So we have to trust the judgment of the front office when it comes to something like this. But I got to tell you this, for someone to be on the, I don't want to say on the fence, but for someone to be just average in the system, that doesn't come with a $15 million bag though. So, and that's what he's going to expect next year. And we can't just pay $15 million for average play. And it's not his fault. He's just not that type of tight end.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one because we've just spent the last at least a year as Dolphin fans hearing a head coach say, this player's, we're not interested in this player. This player's not for, this guy's our starter. And everyone's like, dude, we know you're lying. You want this other quarterback, is what it is. So it's somewhat refreshing to hear Mike McDaniel kind of, in his own way, put stuff to bed, but leave the door slightly open. Because again, you don't want to be in a situation where you say, yeah, this guy's not open for trade. We want to get rid of him. Because then teams start calling you and say, okay, here's the 7th. You want to get rid of him, here's the 7th. Take it or leave it. But he didn't categorically say no. And I think it was the most respectful way of saying he's available, but we're not going to kick him out the door. We'll make use of him we'll make use of him while he's in the building. But we're at a point now where we think it's best for everyone, and the player probably feels it's best as well, that he goes to a system in which they can make use of what he's going to do. And what he's going to do is catch, contested catches. I understand Dolphins fans saying, you give Tyreek Hill, you give Tua a left tackle, you give him Tyreek Hill, you give him a run game, and you take away one of his weapons. Why would you do it at a time where you're building around a quarterback? But like you said, it's just really, if anything, not going to fit. Because at the moment, it looks like we're going to start the season, Mike Gesicki's going to be in the field, and everyone's going to go, they're passing, because he hasn't developed as a blocker. And we obviously saw in the Raiders game that safety on Teddy Bridgewater, some people put it on Mike Gesicki, others on Teddy Bridgewater. There's also a play in that game between Teddy and Mike Gesicki where Gesicki, blocks quickly, rolls out, catch. I believe it's like for first down or, second and short. It's one of those things where it probably makes more sense that his value to the Dolphins right now is, can we get a decent corner or decent O-line? That's probably the best value for Mike Gesicki in Miami right now. His value is what he can bring to the team in terms of picks or ideally players. And you don't have to say it because we're friends. I know you care about me. I know this is my fault.
It is your fault, Kadeem. You know what? For everyone who doesn't know why this is Kadeem's fault, there's a Kadeem curse out there. Every player that Kadeem has jerseys of every player that Kadeem has the jersey of, the player leaves. Every person, Kadeem has a Tannehill jersey, right?
Yeah.
Kick rocks. Kadeem has a Kiko Alonso jersey out of there. Yeah, I understand it came with time, but it's more than, it's deeper than rap. Y'all, we're not even gonna get into the. You got a Raekwon McMillan jersey?
Yeah, I wore it on the last episode.
Listen. Every time Kadeem gets this jersey, Kenny Stills out of there, kick rocks. Every time Kadeem gets a jersey, the player leaves. Kadeem got a Javon Holland jersey. Javon Holland changed his number. Listen, Kadeem got a Mike Gesicki jersey, and now this is happening. The writing was on the wall, and I don't have to tell everyone that Kadeem has a Tua jersey.
I've got 3. Tua's still here. That's what I'm saying. Tua's still here, and they gave Tua weapons. Like LB was like, why don't you get jerseys of players they want to get rid of? Well, no, I'm not wasting money on players that are trash. That's a waste of time. Like, I want to get a True Williams jersey. I didn't get a True Williams jersey. Like, you can't blame me for everything.
Trey Williams was almost on this podcast, bro. He was like 4 minutes away from coming on this podcast. People don't know it. This is like the first time we actually said it, and we kind of alluded to it before, but he was like 4 minutes away from coming on to the podcast. We almost had True.
While we're talking about friends of the podcast, shout out to friend of the podcast.
Happy birthday, bro.
Can I
Happy birthday, bro. Go ahead.
Robert Hunt, friend of the podcast, happy birthday. Probably running back 1 in the Dolphins at the moment. We might need to get a Go Time Dolphin special DraftKings bet over under 0.5 touchdowns, Robert Hunt. Like, you know, it could be a thing.
Happy birthday, Holmes.
100%. While we're discussing, you know, Gesicki, Robert Hunt, game against the Eagles, do you think Mike McDaniel even chucks any stars out there? He said, you know what, we've ridden our luck. We've lost Mackenzie Alexander. We've lost True Williams. Nick Needham got hurt. We still don't have Byron Jones yet. We don't have Jalen Waddle. Guys, cotton wool, bubble wrap, take the night off. We're going to, like I said earlier, we're going to see, you know, we've still got who's going to be wide receiver 5 and 6. Who's going to win that CB, 4 and 5? Solomon Kinley looks good in preseason. Can he keep on going, to push Liam Eichenberg? Do we see any starters this weekend?
In light of the stomach bug going around and a lot of teams not playing their starters at all, some teams still playing, and we predicted this. It wasn't just going to be a dress rehearsal like it used to be in previous years. Every team in the league had their dress rehearsal on the same preseason week. We knew it was going to be up in the air. I don't know what we're going to get, Kadeem. I ain't even going to lie to you. But I like that DraftKings bet though. Like, we're gonna have some bets on DraftKings. We're gonna put some customized GTD bets on DraftKings and be like, yeah, we did that. Yeah, man. I'm concerned about Gesicki, bro. I think the next question is, because when you move on, here's the thing: his value has come down now. Before, you could tag him and trade him for a 3, maybe even a 2 in the right situation. But realistically, a 3. Right now, because everyone knows, it's like, we know it's not working out. So the value isn't there. I doubt you get a 3rd round pick for Mike Gesicki right now. And that sucks because he's worth more than a 3rd round pick. And do you go player for player? Sometimes that could be difficult. you have to have the right situation for that. I don't know if we're gonna get players back or a player back for Gesicki in a perfect world. I think it's just gonna be a pick, and the pick's not gonna be good enough. And back to what you were saying, like this is why you want to hold on to all your picks, and this is why we got 2 first-round picks. It don't matter that we lost one. It does matter. 2 first-round picks can 1 first-round pick can be multiplied into multiple first-round picks. Actually, you know what I'm saying. So depending on where this first-round pick is, you can flip it. Shout out to Laremy Tunsil, man. You know what I'm saying? How many times we flipped Laremy Tunsil?
The talk of him or the Cowboys were interested in him apparently because Tyron Smith got injured. The Texans are like, "You're not taking one of our best players. Just stop. Like, don't even think about it." So, yeah, shout out to Laremy Tunsil. But yeah, you were saying.
Hey, who steps it up, comes in and takes Gesicki's spot in the event that we move on from him?
I think Durham Smythe automatically becomes tight end 1. And I think that it's one of those things where, again, Mike McDaniel mentioned his name specifically. It's Hunter Long. Again, when we drafted Hunter Long, people saw him as the Mike Gesicki replacement. He might be the Mike Gesicki replacement, not because he's playing to a point where he's replacing Mike Gesicki, but more to a point where Gesicki's at the building, so Hunter Long's reps go up. Listen, people saying the Dolphins should send Mike Gesicki to the Saints and bring in Eric McCoy, this isn't Madden. Like, I'm not saying this because we put it out there. I think their best bet would have been to trade Mike Gesicki for Tevin Jenkins. Like, that to me would have been the ideal trade partner. And there's extra picks in that scenario, but you're at a stage now where, again, now that you kind of established that Mike Gesicki is a pure, pass catching tight end, it limits where he can go. Mike Gesicki is on the franchise tag. It limits where he can go. Mike Gesicki needs a new deal. It limits where he can go. It's not like you've got him under contract for 3 years. You can do what you want. It's a 1-year rental on franchise tag money, so you need the cap space. You need a gap basically at tight end 1. Where they're going to be. So, I've said the Packers for ages, but at the same time, it no longer makes sense. I have no idea where you send him. Again, do you say, you know what, we'll keep him for the season, use him the best we can, and we'll let him go at the end of the season and we get a comp pick. But again, that's assuming that he signs a big deal and you get that third comp pick back. It's not a horrible breakup, but it's not the cleanest breakup. And listen,
no, it is a clean breakup. The outside circumstances don't have to do with how good the breakup is.
Oh yeah. When I said a clean breakup, I mean it's actually we're gonna go get second for you. Like it's a perfect. Anyway, yeah, I just think Durham Smythe probably steps up, Hunter Long steps up, and then I guess it's one of those things where, to answer my earlier question about WC starters, I would have 100% said no if we had a second practice, but I also think even if the people who are healthy, the guys who were sick, I think they probably stay at home. And Matt McDaniel says, listen, even if you feel better, you might have, it might still linger. It's like, I think Matt McDaniel alluded to COVID, basically saying, we have protocols in place because of COVID to deal with this kind of stuff. So it's a case where, say Preston Williams had the sickness bug. Preston Williams now feels fine, but he can still pass on, he's still contagious. So I think anyone who had the sickness bug, stay at home, give it another few days. We'll see you Tuesday when we all report back and stuff like that.
We might not see Preston Williams Tuesday, boy.
Again,
we might not see Preston Williams on Tuesday.
If anything, to pick Preston Williams, because you can't get a straight, decent pick for Mike Gesicki, can you say, do you know what, we'll give you Preston Williams and Mike Gesicki and kind of work it that way? But teams aren't, before the season, when everyone's 0-0, everyone has Super Bowl aspirations, no one's tanking just yet, no one has given you a starting offensive lineman or a starting corner for Mike. It's just not going to happen unless the team. I mean, we had this conversation, I believe, with 5 Yard, Lee, and Jason. Actually, this was an off-air conversation once she was gone. No team has like 7 starting caliber offensive linemen. We can say, you know what? Actually, we'll take one of yours and give you Mike Gesicki. Teams might have, even if a team's got 5, they're not giving one the starting offensive lineman. It's not going to happen. So again, it's can we find a center better than the one we have to move Conor Williams back to left guard? But that's neither here nor there. We've got the Eagles on Saturday. Going to discuss our prediction in bonus time.
Yeah, y'all come on over to bonus time with us. Before we kick over to bonus time, Tanner Conner, they like Tanner Conner, bro. Like the Dolphins like Tanner Conner. He's not going to replace Mike Gesicki. So it's almost going to be a situation looking like the Green Bay Packers receiving core, or matter of fact, the Chiefs receiving core when there's no more Tyreek Hill and they got 4 receivers to replace him. So it's going to be similar to the Dolphins. We in the event that there's no more Gesicki, we're going to need 3 tight ends to replace him. And let's not forget, Mike Gesicki had people coming at his dome after his rookie season. Everyone said Mike Gesicki was a bust at the end of his rookie season. Like, oh, why do we have Gesicki? He doesn't block. He's not catching anything. He's just there. Why was he even picked so high? And then he became Mike Gesicki. So I'm not ready to rule out Hunter Long yet. Mike Gesicki had 200 yards. Check it. 200 yards. Mike Gesicki had 200 yards in his rookie career, in his rookie season, and like 21 receptions. That's it. And then he doubled it both the season after that. Then he added additional 200 yards the season after that. Like, bro, I'm not ready to write off Hunter Long yet, but Mike McDaniel didn't draft him. So that's something that we have to consider too. But y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time.
So I guess we kind of always have this, what I'm not gonna say what do you want to see, but what would you like to see? You're watching the game against the Eagles. What kind of development do you want to see this team take, given that's the final preseason game?
Nah, I just want to see everybody come out healthy. That's it. We here now. They old news. You don't know what song that is. No,
you say it all the time. I don't know what song it is.
Nah, man, but I just want to see everybody come out healthy. It's getting close. We could smell the season starting. And the home opener is with the Patriots coming to Hard Rock Stadium. So, yeah, man, I'm ready. I don't need to see anything. As a matter of fact, I'll be happy to see Skylar Thompson the whole game. Cool, let's do it.
Listen, go bring back Reed Sinnett and sit Skylar Thompson. Like I'm not messing around about players. Listen, when there was 4 preseason games, I enjoyed the 4th one because that's when you get, a Preston Williams out of nowhere. Yo, who's this dude? Who's this dude that just made a case to make the 53-man roster? Like, I want everyone to stay healthy, and I want guys to enjoy themselves because for some people, this might be the last NFL game that they ever play. So go out there and make the most of it. I want to see guys have fun. I want to see touchdown dances and all that kind of stuff. And I want people to ultimately, make a case as to why they should be on the 53-man roster. Because again, it's it raises the floor of the team when you've got 53 great players.
Ain't no matter about it. This is going to be a lot of people's last games. Last time ever suiting up is going to be this Saturday. How about, man, bro? You just threw me off. Yeah, he said Reed sent it. Nah, you ODing with that. Hold on, you brought something else up. He said dancing in the end zone, seeing these boys. Oh yeah, which one was it? Was it Sam Agwavon or was it Landon Roberts that saved his job with the last preseason game? Remember, and he had like 12 tackles.
He has like 4 sacks in one game, and everyone's like, "Oh snap, he's a dude now." So
yeah, and then he saved his job with that. Listen, man, shout out to Patrick Laird. Found himself on another football team. That's what's up, bro. He ended up going to Tampa. Hopefully he makes the team.
Yeah. I feel like someone else, a former Dolphin. Obviously we know Kenyon Drake probably going to lose his job. But we didn't discuss this in the show. But there's rumors, and right now it's just rumors, that it's not just Mike Gesicki who's being potentially talking about being traded away. Friend of the podcast, Myles Gaskin, is another one who's come up in trade conversations, apparently.
That's not new. Oh, well, I guess it's no longer trade speculation, it's trade conversation. So I didn't hear that. And I know it was speculated by everybody because they felt like he was the 4th receiver on the roster or 4th running back on the roster. I think he makes it, though. I really do. I think he makes the team. Like, unbiased opinion. I really think he makes it.
Yeah, it's again, people say, the run game, and people can have obviously legit concerns about how the run game is looking right now. But Mike McDaniel said he just wants to see guys run the ball. Like, no scheme, no trick plays, can you run from A to B? Can you run north, south, all that kind of stuff? I need to see where your level is. So when I start scheming things up for you, I kind of know what your best kind of work is and stuff like that. So, yeah, hopefully this isn't the last time we see friend of the podcast, Myles Gaskin, in a Miami Dolphins uniform. But like you said, it's perhaps he completely goes off and the phone picks up and says, it's a team. Hey, we'll give you this offensive lineman for Myles Gaskin. Can you say, so guys are gonna, play their way into the Miami Dolphins team, play their way onto another roster, but also, unfortunately, their NFL career comes to an end this weekend. And like you said, the only thing we want to see is every single player on both teams as well, not just Dolphins, but the Eagles as well, come out of the game healthy.
Eagles losing to the Lions first week.
Dolphins winning on Saturday?
I don't know.